Thank you, Wendy. So we have a short time today, about 15 minutes, to talk about this interesting and complex topic. So I'm going to focus on some of the highlights and best practices to get you all thinking about ethical issues and considerations for AI, and especially the people impact, and how those issues come up for you as IT professionals and as project management professionals. Okay, there we go. So to level set, I'd like to just agree on the definition we're talking about today for artificial intelligence. And that is AI is defined as the ability of a machine to perform cognitive functions that we associate with human minds, such as learning, reasoning, perceiving, and problem solving. If we're thinking about AI and machine learning, and we're just thinking about classification or optimization or prediction of problems, then we run the risk of reinforcing inequalities. We need to think much more holistically and inclusively about the best ways to incorporate AI into our organization. And that's what these symbols are really, and ideas are really highlighting. Thinking about data quality, thinking about unintended consequences and bias, thinking about the power and responsibility that goes along with this, and really understanding if what you're doing is leading to good or bad consequences. So ethical concerns for AI, there's a lack of transparency, there's algorithm bias. Many of you may have read about Amazon creating an algorithm based on their hiring over a period of time. And when they ran the algorithm, they realized it had a recruiting bias against women because their data set reflected hiring of men. So there are all kinds of biases in these processes that you need to be aware of. Lack of diverse voices, making sure that it's not just a small team of people that have very similar ideas on how to proceed that are making these decisions. There's bias in the data. There are data privacy concerns. Many of you may be familiar with GDPR. We're not going to talk a lot about that today, but different countries have different data privacy requirements, and even if you're operating somewhere that doesn't have legal requirements, you really need to think about data privacy concerns. And then what is the overall impact on people? Both the intended and unintended consequences, and we'll get into that a little bit more as we go on. Part of the problem is only 38% of firms have a clearly defined AI strategy. And that means no one's really thought deeply about these, not no one, but less than half of the people that are using AI have thought deeply about these issues. So here's an example of a code of ethics, and this comes from ACM. And there are other things that you can certainly consider, and that's the Association for Computing Machinery. And these are just general ethical principles for computing professionals. And the code is provided as a basis for ethical decision making. So as you go down these, I won't read them, but contribution to society, avoiding harm, trustworthiness, fairness, these are all standard ethical concerns that we have when we talk about ethics, but they need to be incorporated into the AI process and into the tool selection process, use of data process, communication about the process to the various people that are impacted. So let's talk a little bit about what's been happening in the marketplace. These are a few examples, and I have another one to share with you as well. There was a great piece in the New York Times a month or so ago about this, and if you're interested, reach out to me and I can share that resource with you. But let's start with the Salesforce example. Salesforce employees were protesting a government contract for the sale of technology to the U.S. Border Patrol. What Salesforce did is they did not terminate the contract, because of the action of the employees, but they did come out. The CEO, Mark Benoff, came out and responded by stating an opposition to the government's policy around the border, and added that Salesforce wouldn't terminate the relationship with the Customs and Border Patrol, noting that their products were not specifically used by ICE, but that they did, address the employee concerns, and they did proactively, well, not proactively, but they did clearly and transparently, summarize their position and the actions they were going to take. They did say that the contract, which comes to an end, which did just come to an end in 2019, will not be renewed. And that was a result of the, fierce internal campaigning and petitions that were, outlined by the Salesforce employees. With the Google employees, they had a campaign for greater transparency about building drones for the Pentagon. And they had a similar outcome where the contract at the end of 2019 was not renewed because of these actions. And then with Amazon, they have recognition software that they were selling, this facial recognition software that was being sold to the police. And it drew the ire of the ACLU when they ran an experiment that the software was found to wrongly identify, in this example, 28 members of Congress as people who had been arrested. And the ACLU made a point of demonstrating the inaccuracies of the software that provide police officers with incorrect information. And for instance, by identifying someone as a formerly convicted armed robber and, suggesting that the use of potential excessive force might be in order. So there's a lot of, good intentions, but perhaps the outcomes are not exactly as expected. So the unintended consequences and the impact on your employees around some of your products. So those were product, related examples and employee activism around product-related examples. But there are also examples of companies doing things like having their employees use wearables to track how they're using physical office space with an eye to purchasing new office or leasing new office space and, tracking how the current facilities are used, what they need.
Hi there, I hope you enjoyed that last clip. My name is Michael Maludis, and if you'd like to watch the full 60 minutes of that last webcast, while also getting complete unlimited access to our entire library of IT learning, simply visit our subscribe page at greatpro.org/subscribe. Unlimited annual access is $199 per year, but if you use the coupon code LEARN2EARN, you can drop that membership fee to just $149. That's less than $13 per month for unlimited access to over 1,000 hours of on-demand career development, covering the entire spectrum of IT management best practices, including business analysis and requirements, software development, quality and testing, risk management, process improvement, project management, and even digital transformation. But your membership doesn't just give you unlimited access to our vast learning library. You also get free access to our mobile app, as well as direct access to our network of over 300 of the world's leading IT consultants, all of whom are dedicated to putting practical knowledge at your fingertips so that you can learn more and earn more. I hope you will join me in becoming a member of the Great IT Professional and advancing your career with us. And if you're on YouTube, don't forget to hit that subscribe button above so that you get notified whenever we publish new free webcasts each week of the year. Thank you for your time and best wishes for your continued success.